Welcome back, everybody. Here we go again. Wipe day. Solo server. Well, solo duos now. But I'll play solo. I hope everyone's okay out there. Bank holiday weekend in the UK, so a lot of people are off this weekend. I'm got 16 days off, so even better for me. All right, then. Hi Airsoft, how are you? You good? So we've fresh white. Server went live about 2 hours ago. And yes, it is my own server, and I do play it the same as other people play it. But everything I do playing, I do on stream, so I don't have access to anything that other people don't have. If I get asked a support question, I'll deal with that off stream, if that makes sense. So basically it's a semi-hardcore survival server, but allows duos. I'm good, thank you. We are coming into night time, but hey, that's life. So our first port of call will be to find where we are. That will help. So I've set up different spawns on the map, so people always spawn near a medical centre. So it could be anywhere on the map that has a medical centre or hospital. Just because that's strange and weird. I know where I am, I think. Yeah, sort of. Hi, red and green. I'm good, thank you. How are you? We have hot days on here and colder nights. How do you mod guns into your server? I add them to types. Basically, I add them to types and then choose how they're going to spawn in the world by choosing things like how they spawn, where they spawn, what tier they spawn in. And then for airdrops, I add an airdrop mod, choose where that's going to land on what on a timer, and then choose what loot's going to be inside it. But everything needs to be added to types because that's how DayZ understands the data. So spawned in with a key here that says they are aircrew emergency kit alter. So at some point I need to go to alter and open up the emergency kit. Hi John. As per normal, we've got something useful there, but we've got no way of carrying it. That's a boat, in basic terms. So, not that we've got any water to deploy it, but if we were on the sea, there you go. And then you can pack it up and carry it with you. We'll take that. So on this server, that's useful. That's more useful. You get through a lot of knives on here. Yeah. Yeah, different spawn points, unfortunately, now. Or fortunately, depending on how you look at it. We've had a good play with all the spawn points. So you spawn every hospital or medical centre around the map. You spawn within a circle of them. So you could spawn anywhere. You could spawn in Tissy, if you're unlucky. Or on Northwest Airfield. Cold nights and warm days. Not freezing, but cold. We'll go till we've got a full stomach, and then we'll go and light a fire somewhere. And try and get through the night. This way should be the coast, because we're going to need food, and fishing's our best option. But no pistols, surprisingly enough. I suppose we could... No, we need clothing, really. I need to save the rags we've got, because we don't have a lot. We'll make our way down towards the coast. I don't really want to use up stuff making a fire, but we might have to. Trouble is, making a fire at night on a server like this is liable to get you turned into a fishing kit. Let's get some bark. We need a long stick. There we go. And a second one. Now let's find somewhere to have a fire. Found a map. Was lucky to get a helpful policeman or two. Yeah. I don't think you've played this in my new version of Chernarus, have you yet, John? That's when the puppy turned up. Ah. Yeah. Friendly little buggers. Yeah, no, I realised you were on the new wipe earlier, but you hadn't, like, up until... So, I'm still running, apart from a couple of added things, I'm still running the same build that I was running a week ago. So, all I've really done is play with the mods and change things around that way. Added a couple of extra things in. But when you, like, walk into Chernarus or Electra or the other places, and it's all full of rubbish. It's all been edited heavily. And you can now build underground. If you want to. If you press B for book, the extra recipes are written down there. Quick rules, link to Discord and Restless's YouTube. Information about flagpoles and base building. Quick information. There, map information and party settings. And then when you build a team, if you're going to join up with anyone, you build it in there. No, you can't search the bins. It was too OP. Because people would just play the server searching thousands of bins for every town. So it didn't become a survival server. It became a let's just search 2.5 million bins on Chernarus and not have to worry about looting. So I've got rid of that. It didn't make it a survival server. It made it a collection server. Too easy. Far too easy. So yeah, I got rid of the stuff that made it too easy. There's still stuff in here that makes it easy, you know. If you know what you're doing. But it's a bit more... That's... Yeah. Because that's how he survived the whole wipe. And then recorded it all. So, if he's doing it, how many other people were doing it? We can't even see what time it is, can we, on here? Yeah, you'll find a lot of nails out there. I have to. We don't have a trader anymore, John. So without a trader, I had to up the amount of stuff. So you're going to, yeah? You know, without a trader, I have to give people the ability of still being able to build a base. Yeah. Getting a flag is slightly harder. Nails and code locks, plenty of them around. A flag to go on your flagpole, that's slightly more of a challenge. There's ways of getting it easily though. Hit an airdrop. No, you can't. So the only recipes that are extra, above and beyond, are there. So vanilla recipes plus those. So you can turn metal wire. Oh no, metal wire's in as place. Oh, we've got the metal wire one. I haven't put the recipe in there. I need to put the recipe in. So a pair of pliers and wire will get you nails. Hi, Monkey. No, Monkey, you didn't. But Monkey, I have to make a server that fits for everybody, not just Monkey, don't I? Yeah. Anyway, you've got underground base building now, Monkey, to keep you happy. Well, we're not going to get any warmer, are we? And we're just going to get hungrier. So let's wander down the hill. So gives away your position, that stuff. I want everyone to suffer, not just me. Yeah. Well, they can now. There's no trader. And the more players you have on, the more loot that will be picked up, and the scarcer it will become. When you first wipe, all the loot spots are filled. Nothing's waiting on a timer. It makes it quite difficult, or makes it quite easy, but it's difficult to make it harder. When you're a week into wipe and loot is cycling through as per the loot tables, then things become a little bit harder. Not massively. But a little bit. There's some new points of interest to visit this wipe. And you spawn in with a key that tells you to go to altar. It is worth the visit. We have global chat in place. So now if people ask questions, hopefully people will help. You guys didn't know, but in the last 2 days I made Trader Island a minefield around 9 traps. Well played, Monkey. I think Chuckles knew. But all the map markers are now gone. All the no build zones are gone. Build where you like, do what you like. Block off a room, a key card room if you want to. Build on top of a well if you really want to. Don't bother me. I hope the community deals with it though. It could be, John. Certainly could be. But where will you spawn next time? Remember, on any medical centre or hospital on the map. And how long do I have bodies on before they despawn? Yeah? But these aren't linked in the same way. I want to channel players into kill zones. Because people started killing each other last wipe, which was really good. We need to have more of that. And the best way of doing it is to make people go to altar. Middle of the map. And when you get to altar, you'll notice reasons to go there. If you search well enough. Okay, John. And we don't have crates linked to other crates anymore. So the altar key is fine for a freshie. And it's a bitch getting there, let's be honest, when you first start off. Until you work out where you are and get a little bit geared. Going in too early might be too dangerous. Who knows? But there's certainly a reason to visit the place. I'll need to sacrifice someone for DayZ's blood gods. Yes, exactly. Sacrificial lambs. I mean, you're always working towards that goal anyway. What am I looking for? That's that there. Housing are over there. Okay, there's a well over there, isn't there? And a chance of food if I'm very lucky. Orchard up there somewhere. Still haven't got this wind sorted, have we? There's normally a chicken spawn around here somewhere as well. Welcome back, John. Oh, OP. Well, at least I know zombies are dropping loot, not like the beginning of last wipe where it was like 2 days of me scratching my head trying to work out where I put the comma in the wrong place. So we need clothing. So John, as I was saying, it's not too OP what you get out of altar, but I'm trying to channel players. We're not linking crates to crates. And if you F11, you could end up anywhere on the map that's got a hospital or med centre. And bodies despawn after only 10 minutes. So if you don't get back to your body in 10 minutes, it's all gone. So F11ing to try and get more keys isn't going to naturally work. Oh, look, Sakau. Sakau Interiors. It's my favourite little mod, this is. I love the fact that we can have Sakau Interiors. With Chernarus exteriors. Ah, at last, an item of clothing. It was a bitch to get working. It wasn't the mod's quite easy, but it involves some not programming, but putting code lines into the back of the code. And where it tells you to put it, it was causing errors on the server. So I had to work out how to put the code in different places to not cause the crashes. And that took some time. That was a challenge, that's for certain, for sure. Our sun's coming up, which is nice. I mean, we are playing a summer build, so... And I had to change all the points inside the houses of where loot spawns, because with different furniture, you needed different places for the loot to spawn inside all the properties, which was another challenge. But the mod's amazing. What this guy's done, importing it over, like, really impressed. Somebody like me that likes mods to be, or likes servers to be, look different and feel different. It's great. We do need food, but we need a rope, and that's industrial, and industrial is more likely to give us rope, and then that would give us a fishing rod. And then at least we can survive. I'm annoyed that I've still got the wind on. I don't know how to solve that at the moment. We did last wipe. I managed to get the wind turned off. So I do need to work on getting the wind turned off. There'll be a little setting somewhere I need to change. It's not so bad when you're playing, but when you're streaming, the sound of the wind comes across massively. Hello, mate. You've got a vest on that I need. Yeah, that's what it's all about, isn't it? To start with, until you can up your survival rate. Where's the orchard on this one? That side or that side? Oh, it's Electra that has the orchard on the outskirts, isn't it? Because that would have done the job. Ah, here we go. And obviously it is duos this wipe as well. But you have to meet up with a player to add them to your team. You can't do it at distance. And the reason with duos is I've had 3 or 4 people ask if they could play as a duo. So we're doing it. And our numbers weren't growing. And I need numbers to grow. Mandalorian, hello, hello, hello. I am on my server. We wiped 2 hours ago. Look at that. Right, I need a stick. Yeah. As we know, on Goblin server, it's difficult for the first hour is painful if you don't get a good spawn. And then it just becomes normal DayZ. But that first hour is hard work. See, they are airdrop heading for Siliski. Or Skiliski. Can you wash your hands in the sea? I'm not sure. But we're probably going to go to a well anyway, aren't we? Okay, thanks, John. We will get rid of this wind. That'll be the next thing for me to work on. But I don't need to restart the server to do that. I can just change the settings and it will happen on a restart. But I need to look up the code and work out how to write it in the weather file. It's not as simple as going wind 0. You have to change the speed and the direction and how often it comes in and change all the parameters. And if you get anything wrong, it reverts to a standard DayZ file. And then just loads the wind anyway. Yeah. Well, the server's missed you, mate. Used to play it a lot. There, another god tier there. Even better god tier, let's be honest. telling me it rains all the time after I'm playing with it. It's good for my crops and drug fields. Yeah, but then that's on servers that that have that, isn't it, Mando? Yeah. This I wanted to turn off the rain on here for the summer build, and then bring the wind and the rain back in for the winter build. There we are. Now I just need a piece of bark, which will get nearer the house. Then we get this food cooked up, and then we can go and hit the military. And long time no see, Mando. How are you? You good? Yeah, I've turned off the rain. I managed to get that working. Last wipe, I managed to get the wind to turn off as well, but it seems to have reverted to... I put a comma in wrong somewhere, and it's reverted its settings. But I'll solve it again. I always do. Not this wipe, no. When we have winter, we'll have snow, but it is summer in the UK at the moment, sort of. So at the moment, we're going to run a summer build. Changing it to snow is easy though, isn't it? I did it before. As long as you put the temperature down to the right level, it will snow and turn on the rain. It's not overly difficult to put that in. Cookies... sort of on extended leave. He had another kid, and he's only been back as and when he can get on since. So we just don't. He's not on as often. So mainly spending time with Chuckles, Mart sometimes, Cookie sometimes still. Our main, we're playing on a 6-man team server, and we're playing with a 5-man team on there. But it's five people, 5 part-timers. Rather than Cookie and I used to all the time. But also doing other stuff as well. I'm building an armor server for people at work. From habit, I decided to wear a quilted jacket. Notice how quickly temp went up. Yes! And then went up too high because we're running a warm day. We're running cold nights and warm days, basically. Not freezing nights, but... enough that it's a problem. Now over to the military. See if we can get a rucksack. You see, you can, John, you can wear ghillie with stuff now on here. So you've got ghillie slots. Though you will overheat with the ghillie on. I will do. Thank you. I'll pass it on to him. And actually going to wearing a ghillie makes sense. Right, back to the well we go. That's major OP for here. It is all luck, though, you know that, and I know that. As you say, jammy sod. Yeah. Not on here, it doesn't, no. If I put a ghillie mod on, it would. But I can make it too hardcore, if that makes sense. And that's what, it's a balancing act all the time, Monkey. Make it too hard, and I won't get any players, because they'll play intense instead. Because that's the hardcore version of survival. Make it too easy, and I won't get any players, because they all have somewhere else to play. It's trying to find that middle ground. Yeah, it's the same as the last two builds, mate. Mostly what I've done this time is I've tidied up the loot crate rooms. I've reduced the lag by taking stuff out. I've changed the weapons pack so we don't have any one-tappers. I've added some more content in. Balanced a few things out, and I've got some stuff in the background to still try and work out. Changed what we're using for storage. Added airdrops. So storage will now be sea chests, the new style wooden crate that comes with gun slots and uniform slots, and barrels. No blueprints. So quite vanilla, but vanilla with an upgrade. So if players want to have those storage slots for those weapon slots and things, then it's going to be use up nails doing it. But there's enough nails around for people to build bases. As I said before, flags are a little bit harder to get, but you can get a flag from an airdrop. They're not as hard as it was last time to get a flag. Last time there was 10 flags in the world at a time. But you could buy them from Trader. So when we got rid of Trader, I increased nails, code locks and flags by 10% for their spawning in. Because I thought that was a fair offset that you don't have a trader. But now you have to find everything. As many as you want, John. No restrictions on the amount of bases people have. If I restrict bases, I've got to spend a lot more time adminning them. 5 code locks per base, so maximum. And also because I haven't given a big space, so you've got 10 meters round a flag, so you can't build massive bases anyway. Yes, it is. But I'm getting busier away from gaming now. So I can spend less time doing admin. Realistically, as of 2 months' time, I'm not going to be available on Mondays or Thursdays. Oh, I do. Pair of gloves. That will do. Nice little find. A tablet battery. A battery for the military hacking device. Yep, base ratings with hacking tablet. They're too fucked for me to even think about taking. That's not fair. Now we need to go and find a priest and then make our way to altar. Yes, massively encouraged. And you can play now as duos as well. You don't have to play as solo. I know enough people that have asked can they run this as duos that I was like, let's do a duos build. Hopefully it will help our numbers over time. Thanks, Red and Green. That's appreciated. Isn't there a church over here? So we've got a chance of a priest then, haven't we? And priests equal maps. There's a church. Yeah, but policeman is a percentage chance of a map spawn, whereas on a priest it's a guaranteed spawn. So a policeman might not always give you a map, whereas a priest always will give you a map. Yeah, we're going to have to get this wind sorted. Hi, Chuckles. Yeah. It's a dodgy spawn here for the older priest. He spawns randomly here. The other ones spawn better. This has always been a problem spawn for priests. How's work, Chuckles? Yeah. Maybe take your pants off. Exactly. Take my pants off and request some religious instruction. I'm probably too old for the priest to want to talk to. That's the trouble. My character male or female? It's male, so... We will get the wind sorted by tomorrow, guys, so that there won't be any wind on the server. Not while it's summer. It's because it should be raining at the moment. So we get wind at the same time that normally on a server you'd get rain. Because I've turned the rain off, we're still getting the wind. So normally it's masked more by the rain. But my aim is to keep it like this until we hit October and then go to late fall, early winter. Probably without a wipe. Oh, in the real world. On here, there's no rain coming. We'll go down to the other church and see whether we get a map from there. I wanted to check whether I got this working. Is that happening? Ah, yep, the Goblin Council are there. See, they're all watching me. Chinaris. But Chinaris with a heavy edit. And the reason I go for Chinaris is because there's so many mods that are made for it. But where we were an hour before launch, when I had wind and rain coming in and I needed to get one of them turned off, at least we're now in a slightly better position. We've got the rain turned off. So now the wind to sort. Oh, you can also, when you've got a belt, put a red first aid pouch on your canteen slot. Basically, if we make it to altar, we get a shoulder bag, we get a leather repair kit, we get a tin attack back, and we get a... remember it now. Swiss Army knife. The trouble is, as a streamer or content creator, if you're recording episodes, the wind comes over far too much. So whereas players don't mind it, content creators do. And our chief bloody content creator, our media officer, I have to take it off for him. Seeing now he gets his own link in there. Now, it's Cherno with 75 edits to towns, villages and military camps. And points of interest, extra points of interest, and new bunkers putting in, and stuff offshore, and... Yeah, so you spawn now with a normal knife, but if you make it to altar, you will get access to one. Unfortunately, because we're having keys spawn on you, keys that spawn on you or come in via an event will always come in pristine. I can't solve that. Whereas the keys that you find in the world will only have one use. So when that key you'll have two uses out of. So you can have 2 tins attack back if there's 2 cases available. Yes, that's an expansion thing. I can turn it off, but I think it's quite nice to have it on, plus the time. It's a just quality of life thing. So the town and the time. And because we're using expansion map, though you wouldn't think so until you pick up a map. Everyone likes it. It is nice. It makes a massive difference, and it will stay. For me, it's just a little quality of life thing. It's not too OP. My favourite thing this build is Sakau buildings, and this is thanks to Chuckles. Chuckles said something like, it's a shame we can't have interiors off other buildings. So we have. It's all thanks to Chuckles. I think he said something like, do you remember I went into a certain building and there was a window covered? So I started looking into whether there was a mod that would allow me to put Sakau interiors into Chernarus buildings. And here we are. No, you have to put it in your hand, John, and open it, but then you can set markers on it. So no more pressing M randomly. So it's a bit closer to vanilla, but when you've got the map up, you can set markers and they appear in 3D. But you need to have it in your hand to be able to set the markers. I want your rucksack, mate. Low. It's a 30 pop server, and at the moment it'll be very low because we only went live a little while ago, and we normally get 10 people on average playing per day. Currently there's 2 of us on. Yeah, I know. Remember the PDA ones? But this wipe we've gone to a duo rather than just solo to encourage some of those people that've got friends to bring them on to try and up our numbers. After Christmas, the server will have. I'm going to a new provider after Christmas. We'll get more server for our money, so we can then have a higher slot server. Bit more power, and I can do a bit more with it. But because I'm paid, this server's paid up till January, I'm not going to go to a new server now and pay for 2 servers. Now that's an interesting rock up there, isn't it? Might have to visit that at some point. Not today, though. It looks like there's almost like there's a bunker up there. What do you mean a streamer killer? Believe me, if somebody popped on here now and shot me, I'd be fine with it. When I look at the logs afterwards, if they were someone that was also watching the stream, they wouldn't be on this server again. No, it's our media officer. But last wipe we were averaging... Are there bears? Yes, of course there's bears, Mando. There's always bears on my servers. I like the bears. The bears add to it. I'm not the same without my bears, am I? There's bears and there's wolves, and there's also extra bears and wolves that are built on trigger points. So when you go through certain areas at certain places, they'll trigger them to spawn in on you, or not on you, but just away from you. And not for a long time now, Mando. Been trapped in a room with bears. Fuckers. Been a while since running around Livonia with a bear inside a room with me. Oh, we can have reindeer back later on in the year. When it becomes winter, when we come late fall, early spring, Rudolph will be walking around with his red nose. 100% Chuckles. But he's disappeared off because it's summer. He's migrated to colder parts. Probably getting ready for a busy Christmas. It was funny now looking back. It wasn't funny at the time. And nobody meant to do it. They were just like, it's a fucking bear, let's just close the door. And suddenly I was trapped with it. You know? It happened, so it's DayZ, isn't it? I like the way you were arranging the server. Thank you. Nearly 2 years of building servers now. And this is our, until next year, our final build. The big change comes next year. But still this build, just with added problems for players. And a severe lack of loot, as everyone sees. We have a 50% nerf of loot. We've changed the spawn point as well, Mando, so you spawn at med centres or hospitals around the map, rather than just along the coast. So you could spawn at Northwest Airfield or Tissy, and you can't select your spawn. No sleeping bags, so when players die... I prefer the lack of food. I prefer it to feel a bit more real. When you get a tin of tack back, you should be saving it for emergencies, not just eating it and gorging yourself. Says me that gorges himself. And for the first time in a long time, we've got global chat on. So if someone asks a question, they can do so in global chat. And I think maybe... No, I only put global on. Global and server. So if I log in as an admin, I can send messages over chat as an admin. I don't like Reforger. My problem, Mando, is I don't like the armor way of doing loot. I just do not like it. I'm fine with it in armor. I'm just not fine with it in DayZ. So as much as I like what the game looks like in Reforger, basically a newer version of the engine, I don't like how they do loot, and that's for me it's a red line. So I can't play Reforger if it's Reforger DayZ. So that's me. Everyone's different. I mean, the stuff that I do in armor, I do in armor. Oh, 100%. What I always find amusing is, like, in November I'm off for my VBS briefing, and we'll see stuff on VBS that will appear in Infusion in 4 years' time, but we'll sign an NDA on it, and because it's to do with work, I'll keep to that NDA. 100%. Actually, I'm on leave at the moment. I've got 16 days off, and I've got a new license code for the latest build of VBS, so I need to download it when I'm on leave and start having a play with it. Bring myself back up to speed on it. And for obvious reasons, I'm not allowed to show it off. No, Chuckles. No conversation further than what I said. But what did I see in the past? So, I saw snow in the past that when you built a fire around it, the snow would melt round the fire and give ground sign. And we had to sign an NDA on it at the time. And then 5 years later, out came Sakal. They up server restart. I'll be back in after the restart, guys, as we carry on trying to make our way to Alta. And Mando, I've got 6 weeks off due to school off, so doing my garden digger and moving 17 tons of earth. Amazing, mate. Amazing. Just going to put a message out to Goblinz. Just waiting for the server to come back up, guys, and we'll continue. Thanks, Restless. Wind will be turned off tomorrow, mate. I'll work out how to do it again. For some reason, it's not playing ball. I got rain turned off, but the wind command isn't working correctly. So that will go off again. I just need to get into the files and edit them. And I'm trying to work on a solution for the keys that you spawn in with coming in badly damaged. I don't think I can. Just how it works, unfortunately. Because it calls the data to call the key loads before the data to call the condition of the key. So it overrides it. Yeah, I ruined one by beating up a Z. He had it in his pocket. So at the moment, some keys will only work once. Some keys will spawn in, well, depending on how you get them, will work twice. And I can live with that, but I'd rather not, if that makes sense. Yeah, the spawn points are a bitch now. Because you could spawn, as I said, Tissy, or you could spawn up north anywhere. It could mean that suddenly you're stuck in a world where you spawn in as a freshie and you're surrounded by hardcore Zeds and bears and wolves. And that's life. And it will happen to me. You know, at some point I will die. I saw a crazy one earlier. If you find it, you'll know what I mean. Okay. But I quite like medical spawns around the map. It makes things different. Yes. I also have a vanilla weapons pack on here as well. Or a light vanilla weapons pack. That's a fair way of putting it. So we've got vanilla weapons, all of them. And then we've also got an added weapons pack called G3 Vanilla, which has extra weapons, ammo and scopes in, but nothing OP. The biggest round now is 30/6. Okay, Restless. Yeah, no, that didn't happen. I'd have to alter too much code for that to work, and that would have an impact on performance of the server, so I'm not doing it. And it would put some players off playing. It's a balancing act all the time. Oh, give me some apples, game. You know you want to. But we're not going to hang around for hours because we're streaming, not just gaming. If we were gaming, we'd just sit in the middle of the orchard, go away and make a cup of tea, come back in 20 minutes and find apples everywhere. But when you're streaming, you can't really do that. Now we're going to miss out the town and go straight up the hill for where the priest lives. Get the map and then make our way to altar. Because then I can show off altar to you guys and you can see how what I've done with the altar build. Good place to search for a flag, guys. Good place to search for a flag. You can't make a flag. You need to find one. And if you have an underground base, you need 2 flags. The flagpole you'll make using using 3 short sticks and a piece of rope. But it won't have a flag on it. So I've slowed the game down by making it not have a flag. So get the flagpole up easily, but you'll need a flag. If you have a rag base building, you'll need 1 flag to cover the base. If you live underground, the hatch will need a flag to cover it, and the underground base will need a flag. Yes, you can loot a flag from John. When John gets a flag, you can kill him and take his flag. But once he's got a flagpole up, you can't steal the flag off it. It becomes John's flag to control at that point, as long as he makes it his territory. But yeah, I wanted to slow things down a little bit, not make it too easy to have instant flag with a flagpole. Sorry, with a flag on the flagpole. And I want to do a long wipe. In the perfect world, 1.29 would be a great little patch that wouldn't cause any problems, and we'd better run this without a wipe all the way till January. But a lot comes down to numbers. If suddenly we start dropping to like 1 player every couple of days and 2 or 3 days with nobody playing, we wipe. because obviously people are getting bored, and a wipe helps. I've heard John's got 5 flags. He's wearing them. He's sewn them together and he's wearing them as a suit. Right, where are you, Mr. Priest? There you are. Thank you. So, John, as I was saying, I can't press M. That doesn't work. So, put it in your hand, open it, and then you can use it. And we've got no server markers now of anything that's offshore or onshore, so you have to find things. But the keys will give you a good hint of where you're going. Like me now looking for altar, because I'm used to having maps with everything on them. There we are. So I want to hit about there. Now I don't mind making altar a permanent marker on here, because each time I die, getting to altar is important. And now the marker's there. It doesn't show me the distance I have to go, but I know it's there. With this map, I convert you. Yeah? There's a little pond down there somewhere, isn't there? I suppose we could fish and eat before we move out. Got no food on us, have we? No. Did I pick? Yeah, I did pick up the second one. It's massive. The question is, which of you will first find the fishing village? You'll need a boat to get to it. Okay, airdrops aren't working correctly. It seems to only be calling Salisky Island. So I need to solve that as well. I know we've had a restart, so we'll give it a chance and see whether in an hour's time it's going somewhere else. I love it, Chuckles. So the airdrops are base building airdrops, guys. So you'll find stuff to help with base building on the airdrops. Risk versus reward. You can carry on searching the map, or you can fight all the zombies on an airdrop, basically. No. So now the only boat spawns will be in the bags. So you'd have to find a bag, which I found at the beginning of the beginning of the stream. And then carry your boat with you. I wasn't going to have any boats on the map because you can get to Endgame Island or the HQ Island without having to have it. You could swim there. And then I found the last mod that I put on the server of the fishing village. You'd never swim to the fishing village. So, and the fishing village is so nice. And it's somewhere like somebody like you, Monkey, might live on, might choose to live on or have a base on. That I wanted to put in boats to allow people, if they find it, to take the logs out and fortify a room out there or a door out there and build themselves a stash out to sea. And it even has a fuel station out there. So you can get out there and refuel your boat out there. And there's one house on the island, or whatever it happens to be, and then there's lots of other structures and loot spawns out there. But there's no trees or bushes, so you'd have to take everything out yourself. But it would make a really interesting base. Yes, there is that. But what I might do, because I couldn't get the loot crate rooms working the way I wanted, so we took them off. So we've just got loot crates, not the rooms. I might add the keys back in tomorrow that we were going to use last wipe but didn't. And then add another 48 sets of crates around the map. And then something like the fishing village could have something out there. And make it relevant, so the fishing village would have fishing rods in it. And bait. And pristine hooks. Maybe boats, maybe rubber dinghy spawns. Potentially I could make that a proper boat spawn out there. Certainly not. Well, you can, if you get the right backpack, John. We've got Project Hope back on here, guys, as a backpack. But in limited amounts. Thanks, Red. It's damaged. Ours is damaged. Everything's damaged apart from what you spawn in with or what you get off the other event. If we get to Altar alive, I'll be able to show you something, but I won't be able to use it because I had to test it today, so I've used it. So I've got the wheel, the wheel back in, which can be spun once every 24 hours, and it's in Altar. So the ones of you that know what I mean from the build of the crocodiles. Yes. And it goes on longer. And the whole server gets told if you win the jackpot. Yes, that would be the one. Anna's, yeah. But it means that players will be going back there on a more regular basis. And there's only one way into Altar. And one way out. But you can fish in there if you want to. You'll recognise Altar, Chuckles. It's what we use on Beg for Mercy as our trader. It's exactly the same mod that I've added some more stuff to. And obviously if you want to go freshie killing, Altar's the place to meet them. The jackpot is Top of my head, a box of nails, a code lock, and 2 other items. Maybe a flag and a sharpening stone or something like that. You'll like it better now. Yeah, it's certainly better. Yeah, the croc mod, I wanted it to be so much better than it was, and it wasn't. It was just, yeah, I wasn't impressed enough with it to keep it. We tried it on Deer Isle. It sort of worked there in the marshes, but I still wasn't a fan. Tried it on Livonia. No. I think the only time I'd run it again would be in the future if I made an edited zoo and we could have the crocs spawn in the zoo, maybe in a pool of water that they stayed within, and then there was an island in the middle of the water that had a loot crate on it. That would be an interesting scenario to do. And I could certainly trigger the crocs now to work that way. Maybe for the future we'll look at it. But certainly not at the moment. It'll be after Christmas if we do. I'd have to build a zoo somewhere on Chernarus. Gives me a few ideas to think about. Because I could do bears and wolves in the zoo as well. And all the other animals. And if we had things that you couldn't shoot through, so until you open the door to go in, and then the animal was facing you, that would be interesting. As we said earlier, on this map, or my Goblin DayZ, the first 40 minutes is stressful of when you spawn in. Once you've got that first lot of fish down your neck and water, you're pretty fine on my servers. Ah, yeah, I get that. Have they got lots of crocs and zombies? I'm joking. Should see my town on the Friday night. It's full of zombies. There's a wildlife rescue organisation with crocs, alligators, pythons, etc. Imagine stumbling into that in the apocalypse. Yeah, either it's a source of food, or you're a source of food. But there's food involved. I'm hoping the next airdrop won't be Salisky, because then I know the airdrops are working correctly. If it is, then something else I need to fix tomorrow, or tonight, or at some point. There should be 4 airdrop locations. There you are. Restless. Just realised that I had chat turned off. And then, hello. Okay. I've heard of the film Happy Gilmore. Obviously, this is me we're talking about. I tend to watch random shit. So at the moment, I'm addicted to Big Bang Theory because I'd never watched it the first time round. So I'm watching all of it as a sort of as a wanna. Not completely as 9 series, but you know what I mean. I'm watching like 3 hours at a time with a cup of tea and biscuits, or cookies to my American cousins. And then once I've finished that, then I'll find something else to get addicted to. I don't like things that... Films, I'm a weird one with films. There's very little that I watch or want to watch. I prefer a TV series that I can really invest in and then watch it all as a wanna. I did all of Yellowstone and all of its spin-offs about 3 months ago in 2 weeks. Do we need to update rules on metagaming in global chat? No, because I say no meta. Yeah, and I have copies of all the chat logs. I'll put something in the rules about it, but if people meta, they'll get timeout bans. Yeah. So the only things I have access to are Amazon Prime or YouTube. That's it for TV. I refuse to watch. I refuse to pay a TV license, and I refuse to watch BBC. I won't watch ITV. I won't watch 4OD. I won't watch 5, whatever they call it, Demand 5. So Amazon Prime or YouTube is it for my viewing. Breaking Bad I got bored of. Better Call Saul. Breaking Bad I enjoyed, but then just got... For me, it went on probably too long. So I got to a point I was like, I've had enough now. But Walking Dead was the same. I got to a certain point, I'm like, I've seen enough of this now. I don't need to watch the rest of it. Game of Thrones, that was a bit different. Obviously, that was me worth having a Sky subscription just when it's on. I love Game of Thrones. Yeah, I don't know what it would be over here. And if you miss on chat, if you press enter, you can see the last few messages that have run through. And you can, in your expansion settings, you can change the size of the stuff. So options, expansion. They are. Yeah, I would never... I don't want Disney Plus. So that would be a waste of... For me, that would be a waste of... What's that? 90 and then 18, £108 a year. Yeah, I'd be wasting £108 a year. For me. Everyone's different though, aren't they? You know? I really enjoyed... I had Paramount for 1 month just to watch all of Yellowstone. That I like because it's more my type of shows, but I'd watch Yellowstone and then I looked around and there was nothing else I wanted to watch. So back to Amazon because I buy stuff from Amazon Prime all the time. Not all the time, but you know what I mean? It's where my primary go-to to buy stuff that I need is normally Amazon. And then if you take off, you know, the fact that I sub to Irish's channel, so that saves me £5 a month. Amazon cost me, what, $7.99 a month? So £3 a month to get Amazon Telly plus free delivery. I'd say it's pretty good. My problem with Disney is not that it's Disney, is I love Star Wars, but I love Star Wars before Disney bought it. So I can't really justify a Disney subscription. And the only film I want to see this year is 28 Years Later, which October, November, December it comes to on demand. I'm going to alter, because you spawn in now with a key for the air crew emergency kit at Alter. And I want to show off Alter to people. So obviously I have a different version of Alter on here. Remember, my maps are about channeling players. Why does it say marker name on it? What have I not put on? Oh, it's only marking on the map that it's Alter. It just says marker name elsewhere. Oh, that's even better. That's fine. I can live with that. That will annoy people. It's a setting I'll need to change in the map settings, I'm sure. But Expansion had an update of map settings about 10 minutes before we went live. Right, guys, I'll just be right back. I'm going to grab a drink a second. And I'm back. A nice can of full fat cola. Something just got gassed. No, I'm not going to type that. It's not me at all. That's too much like working with people. But it does mean that we have a lot of people join the server that are on at the same time as other people that don't join the Discord. And they'll ask questions in chat. Now people can answer them, hopefully. So hopefully the next airdrop will go somewhere other than Salisky. Otherwise I have some debugging to do to try and work out why it's only going to one location when I've got 4. fill my vape, because that was just a drawer of hot nothing. Which doesn't taste very nice. Surprised we've not been ambushed by puppies yet. And in answer to anyone's question about minefields, yes, they are on the server. No, I haven't added any more in yet. We're just going to see how server performance is before I start adding more minefields. We've removed stashes and some of the content on the server, but we put other content in. Now I realise that for me, the performance is fine. I've got a very fast processor and a very, very fast graphics card. It's whether, but you're trying to get the happy medium. I could make it work with shit graphics cards, but the game would look shit and we'd have no extra content. So I have to get the medium of somewhere where most people on average can play it without too much lag. And also I want Chuckles to be able to tune in an Irish and play without a problem. And this is why I think the main thing being that if you F11'd just to get more keys for Altar, why it wouldn't be too OP. It's quite a trek to get to Altar. You could spawn at the other end of the map from your body, and you've got to get back to your body. Yes, you could stash your key in your camp, F11, go home and have 2 keys, but you're still making that choice. And as you'll see when we get there, there's more than one crate there. So I've got 8 crates that all work with the same key. Now I'll be able to open 2 of them due to its very nature. I can't solve that at the moment. Working on that at the moment in the background. But I can't solve it currently. So yes, I would be able to get 2 things out, but I won't be able to get all the loot out of 2 of them. So but I worked on the fact that potentially you could have 4, 5, 6 players go there at the same time. And they should all have a chance of getting a starter box. Or at least fighting each other to get a starter box. Now, because it used to be a trader altar, the mod we've used is a trader mod. But what I've done is I've put a wall around the outside, so there's only one way in and one way out. I've added more military to it. I've added loot to it. And I've added other bits and pieces. Zombie spawns to it. A bear spawn, but the bear spawn is on a percentage chance. So there's no guarantee you'll get the bear when you go in there. But again, that's things that I'm doing in the background to, you know, it would be a bitch if you'd saved up 5 keys and you ran in there and got the bear spawn, you didn't have a gun and it killed you. Yeah. And if I find players are F11ing in the files a lot, quite early on in, then I'm likely to change how things work. Yes, it's all the same. Yeah, it's just starter crates. They're just the same crate repeated. And it's the only crate that you get a key for. You know, there's no other key in there taking you somewhere else. This is your key. Well, it's taken us 2 hours to get to altar. And we still have to get in. And there's plenty of spots, as you can see, if you know someone's ahead of you and you've got a sniper rifle, for you to take up a position to deal with them. No, it was too buggy. And we're staying on Chernarus forever now. Well, until my map's finished. But we're about 2 years, maybe 3 years from my map being finished. And then we'll be on our own map that no one else can have access to. Very popular. Exactly, my car. Look what that is. Thanks, John. And this is a bitch to undo now. On purpose. I won't. I'm going to leave behind a load of stuff here because I don't mind. I don't need 2 of them. I need to get this in somehow. So that's worth its weight in gold. And then you've got crates running all the way up that you can open.
Didn't have to be like this, man.
We only have a single shot. I'm not going to take that on. That's restless. Four rounds and some luck. I imagine I shot drum, didn't I, earlier? There he is. Looking for my body. There's two of them there. Oh, that's a zombie. Saw the red splat. Nah, I don't have the. I have a weapon that's jamming singles every other round. It ain't worth the firefight. Right, we need to go and find better weaponry. Well, I have no idea who I killed. I'm guessing it was Drum. But it could have been DC, I think was on earlier. You'll like this, John. That's why we really want to go to altar for this tool. Paddy was a fighter as well. Not quite as they make him out on the telly, but was a fighter. Swiss Army knife has multiple uses. Remember, I also play an awful lot of modded servers where you can repair things. So just because I make a mistake in here doesn't mean... It means I made a mistake, but also I still need to get to altar. Yeah, Swiss Army knife. So, it's got on it. It does wear out. But it's got a knife, a screwdriver, a saw, but it will only do logs. Like, it won't do base building logs and planks and things. A can opener, a lockpick, and a sewing kit. Now, last wipe, we had... Ah, good, the airdrop's going to Northeast Airfield. Perfect. So last wipe, we had players spawning in with that knife. But that was a bit OP. So this wipe, you have to get to altar to get it. And if we hadn't heard the shooting, I was about to spin the wheel. But if I'd spun the wheel and won the jackpot prize, who was doing the shooting would soon be coming in. Now you can spin that wheel once every 24 in-game hours. So if you spawn at 9 o'clock in the morning your time, you can spin it again at 9 o'clock in the morning 24 hours later. And it takes between 30 seconds and a minute to spin. Yes. 100%. Oh, and the wheel, all the other prizes are keys. Apart from the jackpot. So there's another reason to go to Altar all the time. Channeling players, you see. And even if you die, it doesn't reset your 24 hours, just so you know. Yeah, Monkey's already looking at the entrance thinking how many mines can he get in there. And John, this is where I've wanted to get to for a long time, but it's been building to it. The only major difference after Christmas will be, this will be the same, but there'll be a bit more AI on the map as well. There'll be AI farmers that live around farms that have shotguns, and there'll be AI police. So all the police events on the map will, rather than have zombies on them, will have a policeman with an MP5. And we'll probably have then the police loot will switch to being keys and key cards and things as well. Low tier keys. Because they're looking after them. And maybe the AI will carry keys. And that's what will come in January when we go to the new server. But there'll be no downtime because this server is running now until late January. I will pay for the new server mid-December. I will then just transfer all these files across because it's a copy. And then I'll add in the other stuff. And then I will test and test and test until we get to a point where I know that everything's working fine. And then I will announce. Then I will take the password off the new server and close this server down, and everyone will move across. That's true enough, Restless. I killed somebody there earlier, though. Somebody climbed onto the car with me. I punched them. They stabbed me. I knocked them out and then shot them dead. I'd never be sorry. It's a... You know me, I want there to be PvP. And I've only got a 45 ACP. Once I heard you shooting outside, I was like, oh shit, here we go. And I'm single loading it, and I've only got 4 rounds left. Well, there's a game changer. Yeah, the fact that I allow Alter to get gassed. Which is a fair point. I'm not that far away. I could go and get a key card, couldn't I? Should we go back there and get ourselves a key? Are you enjoying it, Restless? Let's go and get ourselves a key card. It's a gas zone, John. We have popping Zeds as well, but it's a gas zone. I might have forgotten to mention that. I mean, you could be inside and the door might get gassed. Could be a problem. It's amazing, isn't it? Adding the Thankyou buildings to here. It's just awesome. Sorry, the Thankyou interiors. Now we need a space to put what we're getting. And we're going to throw away the pistol, yeah. And that, yeah. Pop that across. That works better. No. Okay, so it could have just been Zeds then, but it is a gas zone. I have set it as a gas zone, so if it was just Zeds and you were popping them all, that would work as well. Was that you, Mark? I'm not going to say sorry, but... How are you, Mark? You're right. Yeah, I got hit by those 4 goblins. You one-punched me, and then I put a 45 in your head when you were on the ground. See, I thought it was either going to be Drum or DC. I had no idea it was you. Not that it would have made any difference. Yeah, there is one spawn that's very close. And I'm not changing that. I'm happy with that. You might strike lucky. Equally, you might get a spawn that's in the middle of Northwest Airfield. Or in the middle of Tissy. So, occasionally getting a spawn outside Altar offsets it. We're going to go back and get ourselves a key card off the spinning wheel of death. Yeah, we're about Chuckles, aren't we? So we can do some stuff on Beg for Mercy. Hi Crane, welcome. Let's see if we can get into Altar this time and get to the spinning wheel of presence. I'm not looking very well, am I? I'm good, thank you. How are you? And happy Friday. Mark, the Goblin Council are judging me for shooting you. They're saying that I shouldn't have done it. So we're playing Crane, my own build, my own server. But everything I do on the server, I do on stream so people know that I'm not.
Subscription received. Dispensing gratitude.
Thank you for the sub. So people know that I'm not taking the piss, basically. It is a nerfed survival server, base building, solo duo. Hangover from last night. Excellent. That's what I like to hear. I'm going to have this weekend. So I give up drinking for 6 months of the year to let my liver, have a rest. And this weekend is when I start again. So I've got my 8 cans of cider sat in the fridge chilling. So at some point this weekend, I will break open a can of blood orange cider and get back on it. Oh well, it happens, doesn't it? It was either going to be me or Restless up there, and if you'd come 10 minutes later, you'd have met Restless with a shotgun. So it was something was going to go down, and Restless took me out, but didn't finish me off. He knocked me and then let me live, which was far too kind of him. I wouldn't have let me live. Anything in mind that you're going to be drinking? Yep. So I'm in the UK. I don't know whereabouts in the world you are, but what I would call cider over here is what the US call hard cider, and it will be a blood orange cider. So I love the stuff, but my problem is this weekend I'll drink again, and then I'll drink through to Christmas and then stop again. It's just how I do it. What works best for me. I do enjoy a drink, but I enjoy it too much. So I'll give my body a chance to dry out. I was that person that when I was young would go out and drink myself to the point where I didn't know what day of the week it was. 2 or 3 nights a week. I love me some cider. I can't do whiskey. I had my stomach pumped on whiskey once. A long, long time ago. I'm 53 in a few days' time. But back when I was 18. Well, 19. No, 18 still. My first posting with the military was Berlin. And I woke up in hospital with a tube inside me. After drinking some whiskey. And now the smell of it just takes me back to that dreadful time. Oh. Thank you, Crane. Thank you for being here, and I'm guessing it was you that dropped the sub, so thank you. That's so appreciated. Right, we're going to have to play Operation Zombie again, aren't we? Probably. Quite proud of my castle this time. I had to do double height walls just to make sure that you couldn't climb over. Yeah, there's a few that live up here. The trouble is, when you started shooting, the ones that live inside would have come out to have a chat. Now, if we survive, you'll see the reason we want to go to here once every 24 hours. Oh, they're back. probably source. YouTube is a problem at the moment. No radio missions. They're broken. And I'm not a modder of good enough quality to fix them. So you can get stuff out of these shops. Oh, I can't spin it because I spun it within 24 hours. So tomorrow morning will be the first time I can spin it, guys. So if you go into the weapons shop, sometimes there's weapons in there. I think we don't have traders in here, but different things do have spawns in them. So it's worth checking, guys, because you never know what you might find. Water bottle there. There's some shotguns on there that you can grab. Hecklerkoch mag. So a Hecklerkoch MG5 mag uses 308 Winchester rounds. This is normally used as a trader. You should only be able to spin it once every 24 hours, and I know I span it this morning, testing it. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's not working, is it? Let me just make a note of what the problem is. I need to just take a photo of that so I can get it out the game files. What's the key for? The keys that come off this spinning wheel are for all over the map. The key that you spawn in with will get you to the starter crates, which are in here. And I'll show you what you get in them. Oh, let me just deal with the problem first. Well, it's been a nice life. Need to get to that guard hut. Do the Namalsk version. They are around. But it's not a guarantee anymore. It's all a percentage chance that they'll blow up. It's not meant to be easy. I mean, this was the evac zone where the military was getting everybody out, and then they turned. Oh, there's a chance of a bear spawn when you run through that door. But if anything, you should have learnt not to shoot in here. Or shoot silent stuff. Sorry, where were we before we were rudely interrupted? Mark was asking what was inside the case that you get as a freshie. Your one and only free key. So that there, prize, big prize is the whole server knows that you've got a code lock and a box of nails and where you are. And the rest of the prizes are keys for around the map. Once every 24 hours it can be operated. The other things are a minute of unlocking. And all the crates take this long to unlock, guys. I see you, Mr. Zombie. And of course, if you spend too long in here, you'll have all the zombies to deal with on the way home as well. Yeah. That's what you get in there. So a bag, Swiss Army knife, jig, canteen, bandage, canned bacon, and a leather sewing kit. And basically, that's your starter gear if you get to alter and survive. The last evac flight out before it was shot down. Even the buildings in here are Sakau buildings inside. It's great. Go fishing here. Have a bath if you want one. He's probably under the water, isn't he? Good shout, mate. Good shout. No, they're not. So the reason I put these in was this is where we were going to have the keycard rooms, but I couldn't make it work, so I had to remove the mod. Clean up happened. As much as coming to altar's a good idea, you get more tutus in here. You get Ruger tutus as well now. Well, we're still alive. Well, if you want the Swiss Army knife, you're going to have to go there. So let's see where we are. Ammo. Dead battery. Magazine. Magazine. Water bottle. I've got a sewing kit on me, haven't I? I'm not playing a modded server where I can choose what I'm repairing with, but we do have a sewing kit on us. Yeah, weapons, ammo, meds. Right, we need ammo. Hunting cabins there. Not very well, am I? But we lived. And that's what matters. Remember, if you ever want to trade with people, arrange to meet at altar. Follow this down, search this town. At the end of the town, switch across. Or do we go down a hit Berezino mill? It's not very good mill though, is it? I used to always be the bear magnet. So because the wheel of rewarding that's got keys on it is in there, I wanted it to be I wanted it to be not difficult, but I wanted it to be hard to get in and out of there. And that's where you get that key saying, come here, get good loot. I wanted it to be a hard fight. You know, when you were saying, will people farm the keys? Yes, they might. But you wouldn't want to go in there unless you were ready for a fight. And if you don't know what you're heading into, that's quite a shock to the system. And I've decided not to put AI in. You know, I could have put AI in there rather than zombies. But that's massively worth it. And so's that spinning wheel. Because that's an easy way of getting keys and key cards to go off and get better weaponry. But it's a risk versus reward, isn't it? You know, if you get yourself a silenced 2-2 and a couple of boxes of 2-2 ammo, that's not such a bad area. Or any pistol with a silencer. Or even just following other people in, you know, coming up to it, hearing shooting, and just waiting to see them leave and kill all the Zeds and then going in yourself. You need a full NBC suit on this server. Good. Airdrops are working correctly. Basically, airdrops are Salisky Island, Northwest Airfield, Northeast Airfield and Balota. With obviously 50 zombies. And it's a base building airdrop. With randomised loot that goes inside. And there'll be more loot than you can carry out. So you'll have to get in there and choose what loot you want and extract with it. What you don't get on them is the concrete blocks to make tier 3 underground. That you have to find in the world. Keep forgetting these places are different interiors. Right, I think that'll probably be it for tonight, guys. I've been up since 4 getting this server ready. It's now 20 past 10 at night coming up to. So I'd like to thank you for watching. Thanks for the sub. Thanks for interactions. Thanks for the chat. Remember, if you've got a goblin in your sights, miss. I'll see you again soon.